Start streaming.
Yep.
Oh, it says we're live.
Okay, let's see. Mm, uh, oh, okay. Well, I need to wait like I think like a minute or something. Yeah, it's working. Look at this.
Oh, is it
Would you
live?
look at that? Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it works. It works. And I can hear myself. But you'll have to lower the music. Paul?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, excellent. I'm kind of. This is the first time I'm kind of doing this.
That was good. Hey, we figured it out,
We
man.
did, yes. I'm gonna see. I'm trying to see if it's showing up on my channel.
It
Um,
is. It is on your channel.
yeah, it's just there's no title of it. It just says Paul Fahrenheit live stream.
Yeah, well, I think you can set up. Can you set up a title and post in
I mean, I might be
your?
able to. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Um,
can. You can just set it up in post.
yeah, I probably can. Hold on. Let me.
That's wonderful. Look at that. There's already people in the chat.
There is. Okay, let's take a look.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Um,
In the chat. See,
um,
you're popular.
so people are saying my voice sucks. It sounds double tracked and low volumed.
But look in the OBS. Let's see. Oh, maybe it's because it's looking at both your like laptop mic. So make sure you don't have that audio enabled. You can look at it in the primary page of OBS.
Is it possible for me to keep like this up and not go into like all the guts of my computer?
Well, yeah, if you alt tab, I mean, remember you have just one window, that
Oh,
you're
it's only streaming the
acting.
Sir Brante window.
Yep.
Oh, okay, good. Um, audio mixer. Um, uh, yeah, it has my mic and my desktop active.
Okay, well then disable your desktop.
Okay, let's try this. Um, look, I'm a fucking boomer. Okay, when it comes to technology, all right. I don't know anything about anything. You know, in the words of Oddball from Kelly's Heroes, one of my favorite movies. Okay, Vin Ghoul, tell me if I'm good. Is this good? Vin Ghoul, he says better, so I think I'd assume it's better. Um, can y'all still hear Bobby? Um, cause this isn't gonna be much of a stream if it's just me. Oh, okay, excellent, great. So does that mean we're good to go? I think that means we're good to go. Oh no, yeah. Vin Ghoul says he can't hear you. Fuck. Hmm. No, Vin Ghoul's telling me he can't hear you. He's not trolling. Well, fuck.
He is correct. You'll have to look in the audio again, and then you'll have to put the output as your headphones. No.
Okay, we're gonna try this again.
No, I can hear. No, everything's fine, Paul. Everything's
Yeah, it's
perfectly
fine.
fine.
It's fine. But the thing is what my theory is that yeah, this isn't a video game live stream. This is Paul Fahrenheit figures out how to use OBS like a fucking 8-year-old child. No. My theory is that if I turn on the desktop audio, right, they can hear you, but that's what double tracks my voice is the desktop audio. All right,
It's the desktop mic, isn't it?
well, yeah, but like the only mic I have enabled is my microphone. Oh
Hmm.
boy. Let's look.
Well,
Let's just head back in.
you know what you could
Um,
do? You could do audio. You could
okay,
capture the
okay.
window
Look,
audio.
look. Okay, we got it. I think we got it. Homies in the chat. All right. Can you hear me fine? Am I coming in double tracked or am I coming in good? Okay. Okay. Vingul says we're both good to go, which means we're just gonna go ahead. All right. The
Yeah.
life and suffering of Paul Fahrenheit, learning how to use OBS. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now that we're good to go, Bobby, let's actually do this.
Wonderful. Look at that.
So,
So,
good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I know I said I'd never do anything on this YouTube channel ever, but I mean, that's subject to change. I'm Paul Fahrenheit. As you know, this is actually me on my actual YouTube channel. I hope you all enjoyed the one video I ever made about Oswald Spengler and the Spaniards. Mostly because before I was an Anglophile, I was an Iberiophile. And yeah, but now I am joined by my very good friend, Mr. Bobby. We went down into the warrens of the dungeons of Telegram, where all the dregs hang out in the deepest, darkest recesses of right-wing internet. And I found this exiled Russian mad scientist who's creating a virus to destroy all language on Earth. No, wait, no, that's the plot of Metal Gear Solid 5. Never mind. But Bobby is joining us today. Bobby, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, especially because I've just helped Paul Fahrenheit set up a stream, so I'm feeling very accomplished. I got my Maslow's butter or Maslow, so life's good. We're gonna be playing the equivalent of hitting yourself on the thumb with a big hammer, the game, right?
Yeah.
Made by Russians.
Yeah, I'm just gonna copy this and just share it on Telegram and other places like that.
Yeah, cool. Wonderful.
So yeah, so this game, this is kind of like it's kind of a combination between a visual novel and an actual like D&D style RPG, which I think is really well executed. I like the gameplay of it in that you're watching a story, and it's like but it's not like you're just clicking options. And because if I wanted to do that, I would just read a straight up novel. I've never understood visual novels, but I digress. But this is an interesting game because it centers around this, and we're gonna play it, but it centers around this dude right here, Sir Brante, who's kind of like this perfect place to get an overview of all of society, because he's like the exact middle class striver. That's who you get started as. You're a middle class striver, and you can either go upward or downward as the game progresses, and you play through his entire life, literally from his actual birth to his to his death, and you see the sort of world that he is born into kind of decay as he gets older in this it's called In the Times of the Fall of the Blessed Arcanian Empire. And the thing about this,
it's
Arcanian.
Yeah.
I always read it as Arcanian. And I've
well,
played through this
in Russian it's Arkny.
Well, I've played this game like 500 times, and I guess my Zoomer brain has prevented me from reading it. But yeah, man, I mean, so I like this game just mostly because it's a good. I'd recommend all of you pick it up if you're not suitably spoiled of it by our playing of it. So yeah, but no, Bobby is a genius when it comes to language, and he speaks several, and he's a very interesting dude. And we just he recommended this game to me, and I said to him, Bobby, I've played through this game like 500 times, not 500.
You said you went to the bottom of the pillar.
Yeah, I went to no, I can't condemn him. I can never condemn him at the end of it. But anyway, we're gonna be playing this game. I don't know, Bobby. Mostly when I play through this, there's a bunch of different paths you can take with him, but I've usually gone through like the noble path. What I was thinking is we'd actually do the lotless one for this one.
It's bad. As in it's very painful. It's very Russian, but it's good. It's suffering. And it's very cool. You'll like it a lot. As an American, I think you really appreciate what they've done there.
The lotless path?
The lotless path, yeah.
Alright. Well, we're going to get started. And of course, we will be playing as Sir Paul Brante. Character restarts. Disabled because we're not pussies. Yeah, we're not pussies, but we are gonna have the consequences open because I want y'all to see the mechanics of this game and how things work. If you wanna be really self-flagellating, you could put consequences on hidden and have no idea what the consequences of your choices will be. Much like real life, and that's really why I like this game, because it's felt the closest thing to a bad representation of what living through someone's real life is, and that's why I like it so much. I don't know if
do you think it's a Christian game?
I do, actually, yes.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. And you guys are going to see the full spectrum of it, of the way that this game is a very interesting foray into like revisionist culture, even because, well, it's made by Russians. And of course, the original language is Russian, and it has some differences. I guess I'll talk about some of them. Some of them are like autistic, but some of them are there because they rhyme with other words in Russian. And since it's a synthetic language and English is not, or at least it's not in everything, you could make funny words like sneedsters, but that's not usually what you do. But yeah, let's go ahead, Paul.
Excellent. So we're gonna get started here. You hold the fate of a single man in your hands. You will follow his life from birth to death. Your choices shall define who Sir Brante will grow up to be. You will decide his personality, social status, and what mark he'll leave on history. With every step he takes at your behest, Sir Brante's character will change and evolve. Your decisions will close some doors for him, but open many others. The world of Sir Brante's birth is a ruthless realm where people are divided into estates. It is hard to be a hero here. Be ready to accept that Sir Brante cannot overcome every challenge in his path. Every hard choice will test his character and personal qualities. Often you will not be able to make the choice you would like to. It may happen because you chose a different road earlier, exhausted your hero's willpower, or haven't earned the right position in society. This is so fucking Russian. This is so Russian.
I think a lot of it is just right wing. A lot of it is just reality. I mean, the one thing is, I guess it's you call him Brand, but they're inspired a lot by Italian names, and in Russian, it is actually not Brand, but it's Brante.
Brante.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's actually how you say it in English, Brante, but I don't really care because
it's fine. It's great, in fact, that we have that. You're going to be reading through this game. Let's not get vibe checked by grandpa. So let's go ahead.
Every victory will be a struggle, a path paved with bitter losses and gut-wrenching failures. Accept the tragedy. Accept the tragedy! This is how you will create a gripping and unique tale for your hero. What will become of your Sir Brante? Now you're going to have me saying it that way. His loved ones and his world. It all depends on you.
The The story of my life remains written on these pages, but my fate has always been my own. Every deed, every choice, every person I met made me what I am. Could I have taken a different path? Could I have found a different calling? Altered the very course of history? And what price would I have to pay?
All right, so this is the whole game right here. This is the whole format of it. Essentially, you are reading the biography that Sir Brante is writing of himself, or someone else is, depending on how the game goes. And all of this will make sense later. But this is basically, you are, in essence, by playing the game, writing the life story that he is finishing right here. So yeah, and it starts at the end of time. Your fingers are stained with ink, your breathing grows ragged, your hands are shaking, yet the words begin appearing on the page before you, one by one, clinging together to form a chronicle of your own life. Who are you, and how did you reach this end? I don't know if I'm going to read verbatim every single page, Bobby. I don't think that's conducive to a good stream. You know,
yeah, but the beginning is good, and we can stop and like discuss something, because there's going to be a lot to discuss. You know?
Yes, there is. This game is great, and I'll tell you why this game is great before we go any further. And Bobby and I were talking about this. This game is great because it's a fantasy universe with a lot of the better things of fantasy, but there's almost no lore, which is great. It's like you know, it's just there's enough lore for you to like get a feel of what the world is, but like at the same time, there's not like 5,000 pages of novels you need to read to kind of get the full context of what it is. And that's go ahead.
Well, it's you know, Carlyle's French Revolution.
Yes.
Well, in a way, you're a fly on the wall here, right? And the fly on the wall doesn't really need to know what, like, kind of what is the history of bread in this universe, or like this magician and everything about him, like to make a Wikipedia article. This is you in this world, and the things happen around you, and you get their context through action and not just like, you know, YouTube analysis videos.
Exactly, and that's what I like about it. It's because it's like the problem is with a lot of the modern day, and this is what the right wing kind of talks about, but like the problem is that like everyone's kind of a voyeur of their own life. You know, everyone is very much like what should I say? Everyone's kind of like an observer of their own life. They're not actually acting, and they're all trying to just categorize everything instead of it's like the difference between an accountant and a gambler. You know, the accountant is only counting other people's money with no risk to himself, but the gambler is risking his own money and actually living in the world. And the gambler does come with risk. And that's the same thing. Like you can't just sit here and I know you use the fly on the wall metaphor, but it's like you still have to make decisions that have consequences, and that you cannot experience this whole story in one playthrough, in essence.
Yeah, because it's kind of, well, to be honest, the fly on the wall metaphor is more apt when you end the game, and you kind of see that. That's a mystery for another time. So let's go ahead.
Excellent. You were born, raised, and lived your entire life in the blessed Arcanian Empire. In this land, a man's destiny is predetermined at the moment of his birth. Whether human or Arcanian... Okay, look, Arcanians are just not elves, guys, okay? They're just blue elves, alright?
The blue bloods!
Whether human or Arcanian, nobleman, priest, or low-born commoner, all bend to the divine will of the twin gods. And each life is not but a single cog in the universe's immeasurable machine. The memories come flooding back. They engulf you as a merciless wave, binding together days that are thrice dead and gone. The dreams of your childhood, your adolescence, your youth spent in the capital, years of peace teeming with life, and a war drenched in blood. High ranks and lowly deeds, opulent palaces, secretive city backstreets, fields of battle and faces. So many faces of the people you held dear, the people who walked this road by your side. Such was your life, now all exposed by ink erupting onto the page. With your every step you sought to change the world as you saw fit. The choices of your upbringing, the path you carved in your youth, the fruits of your struggle, the consequences of your sacrifice, all of it led you here to the end of your time. And every choice had a price. Now, years and years later, the crossroads of your life echo in your memory, the pain and joy inextricably intermingled.
That's a mouthful. Inextricably intermingled.
Inextricably intermingled, yes.
Good job. Yeah.
Could you have taken a different path, chosen a different calling, found a different place in the world? You had the power to alter the very course of history. Now on the verge of death, you struggle with doubt, seeking answers to the last and most crucial question of all, your life. Of all the paths in life, why did you walk this one? Did you choose your own fate, or was your life shaped by forces beyond your control? What determines a man's destiny?
Well, if we're doing the lotless, we have to answer something. What do you know? Something paused, maybe something, or maybe something, liberating.
Well, okay, and this is the first choice you have to make in the game, right? So the whole game is based around this. Like, you get to a point, you're reading a lot, you're seeing how it goes, and then you get to a point where you have to make a choice. Alright? And I don't think this choice has really any consequence on the game itself. Really, it's just kind of like that one thing to keep in the back of your mind that you've set in the, course. And, personally, this is like stupid and bullshit, so fuck this. But if we're doing lotless, we're not doing.
Well, no, I think it's a dialogue between you and the game. That's a very prominent thing in Russian games, that there is a dialogue between you and the developers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is part of that. Is that by answering this question, you get into a sense of, you get into a special place. Your mind acclimatizes to this world, to this book, and solely by answering a question, even though it doesn't have gameplay consequences, you already put yourself into this space. It's like atmosphere. So let's go. Let's talk to the devs.
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. The man himself. You can hear Death's footsteps drawing near. You square your shoulders and take a deep, full breath. You have found your final answer. What is destiny other than a long chain of your own actions and decisions? No matter what happened in your life, you always had a choice. You lived the life you deserved. Only you can answer for it. So true. So true, King. Okay, this is what we're gonna be. This is what we're gonna be doing today. But are you right about this? Is it all true? To learn the truth, you will have to return to the very beginning, remembering every step you took along the way. On these pages, the story of a man named Paul Brante will live once more. So, just so y'all see, there's different chapters of your life, right? And each different chapter kind of has like a final crisis or a final moment that transitions you into the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. But here we go.
Isn't it cool how they, in fact, the weird thing is, in adolescence, it isn't really like a Russian concept. And in Russian, it is отрочество, which is like the refusal, to retreat from a point. You're like going away from something. It's not like adolescence where you grow up. It's like leaving something. And it was very weird because it's not really a word that you encounter frequently. In fact, this game in its original language uses a lot of words that are rare, and that way it creates once again, a certain space of mind, So let's go ahead, childhood. Did the like Old English have an intermediate stage between childhood and like young adult, like adolescence?
I think so. I can't speak to the Old English because I'm not a scholar of that particular era, but I do think that there was a concept of an adolescence, and there was in Western medieval Europe. You know, with your
Yeah. What was a word for it?
well, I don't think there was a word for it, but I think there was an equivalent concept like your apprentice years. You know, when you're, because I think adulthood was age 13 in the Middle Ages. I could be wrong with that, but you know, you were considered ready to enter the professional world at age 13 in the Middle Ages, and that's usually when, and for some people they would have training before that, but I think like you would actually like pick a trade and start apprenticing under a master at about age 13, and your apprenticeship years, I think, are your adolescence, the transition from childhood into like full adulthood. And then once you were finished with your apprenticeship years, you would become a journeyman, and you would have your journeyman years, which is like your early to mid 20s.
Journeyman is good.
And so when you would have your journeyman years, you would, you know, travel around the country, you know, going to different villages, learning different tricks from different, like, for example, if let's say you were a blacksmith, right? You're John Smith, son of John Smith. You apprentice under John Smith, and, you know, then once you reach your journeyman years, you travel around, you know, and you apprentice under Ben Smith and Henry Metal Shaper and whomever else is a blacksmith in the country, and you learn tricks from each of them until you get to the point where and then guild structures, of course, are a thing, and you could have entry into a guild where they certify you as a master or some other thing where you're recognized as a master, and then that's usually when you settle down and take an apprentice of your own.
You see how different the languages already are. That what is adolescence in English, which, you know, it's like you can think of words like adult or sentience. You know, you can rebound meanings inside of your head. Well, in Russian, it is the leaving of a place. You know, or even like a refusal. What do you call it when you like break your bonds with a guild, for example, with a friend? What do you call it when you break a bond with a guild or with a friend, or God, even marriage? I mean, divorce. Divorce is very close.
Divorce is for marriage, but I mean, I don't know if there's a specific word for. I mean, is it like, I think it's like a violation of contract would be a phrase of it, maybe.
No, it's like it is like refusal. But not exactly refusal. It's like you break a contract, but you don't like break it. You annul it, something like that, like the annulation. And it's completely different in Russian. In fact, not only is it like an obscure word, it's also just, you know, it's a different meaning from adolescence. I mean, that's where you kind of start seeing the linguistical differences and how language, you know, is meaning to a certain degree. So let's go ahead. Childhood.
I hope the listeners have found out we're not going to get very far in this game.
Oh, it's fine. We have all the cut ties. Very good. Very, very close. All right.
Yeah. Burning bridges, I guess, is another idiom for it.
Very good.
Yep. A long life stretches before you. If you want to read this, you can read this or get the game, but I'm not going to read everything.
Yeah, but
who will you grow up to be? Yeah, and this is the game. It explains, you know, how the things work. So this is like what is it? These are all unique things that can happen in the first part of your life, depending on. And you can see this is where stats start coming in. So decisions you make start building certain stats. So for example, the fencing lesson with your father, you die for the first time. In this world, you can die 3 times, and then you have like permadeath. You get an idea as to how the world really works, and then, you know, nobleman sacrament, which is important for the lore. And these
you can die only once. or you can die only once, which is like you can get hanged. You know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But these are the two stats you're only going to be worried about in the childhood: determination and perception. When you build these through two different decisions, willpower is a general thing, because some basically you can sacrifice building stats like these two in order to build up willpower, which is required for certain decisions that require a bit more force, you know. So yeah, like you know, this is a exhaustible resource that you can build at the sacrifice of long-term building these, but you need to build this because this is required to do some of the more important decisions in the game. You know, destiny, personality, house, your family, all this other stuff. So these are all the characters, and they'll all become a thing later on. But these are all the
don't show the family tab.
It's
people have to see it for themselves.
It's too late. I've already showed it for a few seconds, but here we go.
Everyone's very memorable in this game.
Yes.
I mean, you'll be sleeping and you'll think about these characters.
At first there was nothing. No time, no sensation, nothing but darkness and void. But then a will breathed life into nothingness. Matter and spirit were set in motion. History began its march. Yep, there's little baby me. You know, you're on your back. You see, oh look, who are these two guys? And oh, then there's a third thing.
Yeah, but and sort of the mystery is who are those people? Are they, you know?
The first figure is soft and empathetic, wise and merciful. The love that emanates from it wraps you head to toe like an invisible blanket. The warmth from it is never ending. The second figure is strong and powerful, commanding and noble. It is harsh but fair, a beacon of guidance, a force of protection, and merciless punishment for every misdeed. Yet there is also a third figure. It is like a shadow barely seen behind them, yet already pulsing with an unbreakable will to live. It is the very will to live that is now growing even stronger within you. A soft, open palm, a strong closed fist, a lingering distant shadow. You struggle to loosen the swaddling clothes wrapped around you and extend a tiny hand into the world. Alright, this is our first choice, Bobby. Palm, fist, or shadow?
I mean, look, we're doing Lawless, you know, The Rebellion, Milton's World. What is it? The First Wig.
Yes, this is total. We are doing a ultra Calvinist Solemn Providence playthrough.
Oh, I don't know if that's Solemn Providence. I think that's
smile at the shadow.
Smile at the shadow. Yeah, totally. Let's go ahead.
So that's your mom and dad. Yep, and then.
That's what the game wants you to think.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Well, that child's already composing, you know, Satan's rebellion in his head. Go ahead. Birth. It's very good. It's like one of the very few non-atheist games, and not like Noah's Ark 3D. You know, like the what do you call, like God's Not Dead genre of media. This is like actually, you know, Carlisle would like this. I think Carlisle would appreciate.
It's a game that takes its own religion seriously. You know, as the days go by, you learn to tell your parents apart. You know, father is man. He's doing stuff. That's him, Robert Brante. And you can all read this if you want. I'm not gonna like we constraints of time force us to keep going. Mother's tender voice, however, follows you day and night. There are two more children in the family named Stefan and Gloria. Gloria sings songs to you. She often dresses you in tight clothing and gently holds your hands as you learn to take your first steps. And then Stefan is like your dick older brother who likes to fuck with you.
I mean, he's got a reason for being a dick.
Yeah, so,
everyone's got a reason.
So this is, I told you earlier, this is like you are born as a middle-class striver, because the rules that'll get explained later. This dude was born in the noble lot, so he was born in the noble caste, but because you were born from your father's second marriage, and your mom is a commoner, you were born a commoner, but you can later achieve nobility, which makes you like kind of a gentryman. But he was born noble.
She looks like a little mean-ass dwarf.
Yeah, and then this is your sister, who was born of your father's second marriage as well. So not only is she a noble, but she's also a woman. The worst thing to be.
Wait, no, Gloria isn't a noble. She's
she was born of. Yeah, I said she was born of the father's second marriage.
Commoner. She's even more common than you are.
Yeah, it is hot outside. You grip your brother's.
Look at this. The pillar. Read the thing about the pillar.
Yes, it is hot outside. You grip your brother's hand with one hand and your sister's with another as they help you walk down the giant stone stairs. Then you sit on the ground and start exploring the sparse blades of grass with your fingers. It tickles. In the sky, far above and away from you, is a gigantic pillar, a perfectly straight stick made of light. It is so bright it hurts to look at it. So this is the sun. Just letting you know, this is the sun.
I mean, I don't know about... You know what? I've never thought about this, but maybe there is no sun in this game. Maybe it's just a pillar.
Yep, it is just a pillar. There is no sun.
Yeah, damn. It's ridiculous.
Please forgive chewing sounds, by the way. He wants to play hide and seek, okay. And she's like, no, I'm a woman. How is he going to do it? He's like, shut up, woman. Hide him and I'll do it. You have no idea what they are talking about, but you support them with happy cooing. This is so strange, but exciting. They glance at each other, walk into a big tree, close his eyes, start shouting something. She takes me and walks me through the yard. Some thick bushes, the light from the da-da-da-da. Basically, she puts me in the bushes and now she disappears. Oh no, you're alone. You're a little baby. Uh-oh.
You're a little baby boy.
Do I cry loudly? Do I try to find my way home? Or do I sit there and wait? We're not gonna... I think we already have some willpower, so what are we gonna do?
Yeah. I think we gotta... What would Milton do? Little baby Milton.
Milton would sit there and wait.
Yeah, I think so too.
The bush is covered with leaves swaying. So you're just sitting there looking around, like kind of like what I did when I was in Little League Baseball. I did not give a single fuck about the game. I was busy drawing circles in the grass and picking dandelions while everyone else was playing baseball, and I was a terrible baseball player. So yeah, this is what we're doing, and then your mother finds you. Woo! So that's where they took you. Uh-oh, little kids. Now I'm 2. Today is out of the ordinary. Father is busy. Da, 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 da. Everyone's doing little things. Today is the great descent. We honor the day when the twin gods descended to us. We must spend this day in reverence to the gods. You are too young to understand, so just do everything your sister says. Gloria.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but the dialogues in the very beginning of the game are a little bit awkward. It's either a way to show that you're a child and to you everything is very difficult and sort of abstract, or maybe it was just the first stuff that they wrote when they were making the game, and so they weren't as good. Because later on, it gets epic.
Yeah, it does. Well, and it's because it's hard to write dialogue for kids,
True.
Excuse me. But yeah, I'm in the playroom. There's nothing there, and she's there with me and a little candle. Today we're not allowed to go to any other rooms, and we'll be eating nothing but gruel and stale bread. On the day of the great descent, everyone must be where they belong. Da-da-da, quiet. She
Must
singing
be
a little
where
song.
they belong.
Yeah, everyone needs to be where they belong. When the twins came down to earth, they brought lots for every birth. Let us count them, 1, 2, 3. The twins made them for you and me.
Very interesting. You see, they use the word lot in this case, and it is kind of close to that, but the Russian word for it is udiel. And once again, it's an old word. It's a word that you don't see often, and it rhymes, of course, with work. And in this case, I think it's been translated well. I think a lot is good, even though the word bane really kind of just bounced around my head. I thought, oh, well, how would you translate that? And then I thought, bane. It's like the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
But that's I think that's a little bit too brutal, even for this game. So yeah,
Nobles
lot is
rule
good.
and bravely fight. They protect us with their might. That second line is a bit awkward. Priests work hard to understand, guide us by the twins' commands. Common people work and toil, always patient, never spoiled. Live your lot where you were born, to the day when you pass on. Know your lot and know the prayer, for the twins see everywhere. You are transfixed
It's hard translating poetry,
especially when Russians do it.
Yeah.
You are transfixed by the tune. Gloria notices your gaze, and this is why I've always had trouble reading Pushkin, because it just doesn't make sense. Because I can't read Russian, so I can't read Pushkin, which is kind of like trying to read Milton in Russian.
Oh yeah, dude, there's like 5 translations of Milton. It's ridiculous. The story of how they were translating him. Yeah. But I mean, Pushkin in English isn't too bad. It's a little bit confusing.
But it was like reading Goethe in English. I knew I was missing something.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Even though you can have like rhythmic poetry in Russian, you can have the iamb. But you can't really do pentameter in Russian, and you have to transform it. And so that's why there's like 10 copies of Hamlet, and some of them are in rhyme, some of them are combined. And a lot of them were translated from French, because of course French is closer to Russian than English is. So okay.
All right, I think we're done with the eating noises. You like the rhyme, don't you, Paul? Do you know what it's all about? Look, there are 3 lots. They were brought to us by the twins when they descended to us from the shining pillar. Remember that pillar of light on the horizon? That's it. You can see the shining pillar anytime from anywhere in the world. If you follow your lots as you live, you'll reach the peak of the pillar, and if you don't, you'll get eternal torment at the foot. So basically, know your place, peasant, or God will literally send you to hell.
Well, I don't know about hell. I think hell is a little bit of a more of a Western concept than in Russia. Because in Russia, hell is like outside your door, and sometimes it's in your house too. So
Slavs try not to be the most unlucky ethnicity on earth.
There's a problem there with lot, is that if you say lots in plural, it means various things, and of course, it kind of doesn't, because of course context is important. But in Russian, it can't mean different things. It just means one, which is the special word for your lot in life, which is udel. And kind of
cast would be more accurate. Like
yes, that's good, very good. But once again, cast, you can cast a spell, you can cast metal.
Well, caste though. Caste in English comes from the Portuguese word casta, which they created when they went to India.
I understand.
Ironically, what is it? We don't get the gamer word from the Spanish. We get it from the Portuguese.
But that's the thing, that even though Russian language contains much fewer words than English, I mean, English has like 10 million words at this point.
13.
Russian, 13 million. There you go. Well, in Russia, it's only 444,000 or something, but most of them are very, very original. There's a lot of French and Italian words, obviously, but a lot of them are genuinely strange, and a lot of them are very unique. Not just like by adding suffixes, because you can suffix fucking everything in Russian. You can just like, oh yeah, bro, I'm just gonna go ahead and make a word. You don't have to like be funny like in English, or be cute. It's actually a function of language. And that's kind of, it has been completely left unexplored for the Western world.
Well, and that's why Russians, even when they speak in English, tend to just be very witty and sharp and intelligent, mostly because their linguistic K lines predispose them to be that way, because that's a required part of their language on a day-to-day life. In English, English is so complicated that you can get by without showing any personality whatsoever. Being witty and fun is kind of rare. It's something that you have to put in extra effort You have to read your thesaurus and your dictionary in order to expand your understanding of the English lexicon and to utilize larger words that perhaps aren't commonly found. And utilize them in interesting ways and have a sort of, and that's why if you get into the English dialects, if you get into particular, this is why Southerners are so noted within the English speaking world, because they have their sort of, even though they talk slow, they have a very much a sing-songy charm about their dialect and a different utilization of words, and that kind of makes them seem really kind of despite the English language. They kind of take it and turn it into something it is not. You once told me the English language is a tool of conquest, but the Southerners kind of take it and then like disconnect it from itself and turn it into sort of their own, expression of culture. And some other places do that too, but the South is the one example I can think of. But anyway, I digress. You and I are lowborn. Mom is a commoner too, so the lot for you and me is to suffer and be patient and work hard. Understand? The priests and the nobles have other lots. The nobles fight and rule over everybody. The priests... Well, I'm not really sure what they do, but I guess they talk to the twins and then teach everybody. Obviously, this woman doesn't know anything about anything.
So she's not a woman. She's like a little girl. She's like 6, tall.
I hate little girls. I hate women.
Oh,
all right?
Man, I grew up with a little sister.
I didn't. I was a boy family. I wish I had a sister, but Gloria stares at you intently.
Be careful what you wish for.
Then she shakes her head and keeps singing the song over and over again. Her voice transfixes you, drawing you in. The room starts to glow like the sky. From this light emerge 2 figures you have known ever since the moment of your birth. One of them embraces your sister's shoulder. The other stands guard behind her back. You watch this happening before your very eyes, unable to turn away. Gloria is swaying to the song, unaware of what is happening. She sings the final verses once more. Know your lot and know the prayer. You feel compelled by this divine sight to express yourself. Somehow you feel words condensing within you from the light. But what will these words be?
As much as we both want to do the sing the last line wrong, I believe Milton probably sang his prayers correctly. So I think we should probably finish it properly.
Yes. Okay. Solemn Providence demands the proper. It demands that we have the proper prompt for Twin GPT. All right.
Twin GPT.
So that's what we're gonna do. All right. Know your lot and know the prayer, for the twins see everywhere. You sing the last line together with Gloria. Your sister looks up at you in surprise and gives you a nod. The shining pair standing behind her back turn to look at you. You can feel their gaze piercing you from top to bottom. When the moment passes, they melt into the dim light coming from the window. Gloria turns her head to look at where you were standing. Did you see something, Paul? Nope.
I ain't seen nothing.
Now it's time for year 3. Just so y'all know, we're gonna probably go for another hour and 15 minutes because we got started around 10:30.
Yeah, but next one is going to be much quicker.
Yeah.
The setup and everything. And this channel is going to get used, so that's good.
Yeah,
let's go. I'll read this one. Spring, the origin. You are starting to understand more and more of what the adults say. Your family is an unusual one. Your father is a nobleman, but not by birth. His is a title earned through great service. But your mother is a low-born woman, a commoner. Because of this, you were born a commoner. But father says you may yet come unto nobility.
You learn to read at an early age. Together with mother, you read and learn by heart the many poems about the divine twins, the twin gods who reside upon the shining pillar. Mother calls these poems prayers. Yeah, so we are Milton. Again and again, you try to discern the shapes of the gods in the strip of holy light that shines in the sky all day and night, but the light is too blinding to gaze upon. Oh, they did a little rhyme here.
Yeah, where?
What is it? Again and again, you try to discern the shapes of the gods in the strip of holy light that shines in the sky all day and night. Okay, I guess there is a sun and a moon. It's just a pillar. They just added the pillar, I guess. The greatest joy of all is when the stairs are no longer an insurmountable obstacle. Woo! We're growing!
You see, this kid grows quickly. You know, in fact,
Yeah.
everyone grows very quickly in this game.
Well, that's kind of how it feels in real life, too. So,
So
yeah.
well, it's kind of how it was. You know, it's today that the childhood just never seems to fucking end
Yeah.
for a lot of people, and no one has meaningful adulthoods
Yeah, that's true.
today. So, but this is good. You know, it's a good game, like genuinely good.
Oh, Mom's pregnant again. Yep, Mom's pregnant again. Woo! When Father comes back from his trip and reads his adult books aloud for you, you find these stories of war, generals, and rebellions quite enchanting. And Father approves. Study hard and maybe one day you'll be a noble. But first you need to grow up. I don't think that's going to happen, Dad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Not this time. Not this time, Robert. Yeah.
Oh, we're getting vibe checked.
No, we're not getting vibe check by Granddad.
Not yet.
We're just getting, you know, what's the word they use it? They use here. I'll use it.
So basically,
Yeah.
I grabbed a sword and I hit my noble older brother.
With a
Why
stick.
did I hurt Stefan? But he hit me first. I just hit him back. How dare he pester me by when I grow up, I'm gonna hit you with a real sword. Race is stern. Even if he hits you, you cannot hit him back. You are my son, and I was born a commoner. Our lot is to suffer. But your brother was born from a noble father and a noble mother. His sacrament is coming soon, and he'll rule over the likes of us. If you hurt a noble, you must be punished. That is your lot. And the sooner you learn it, the better off our entire family will be. What would Milton do?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, what would Milton do? He would dematerialize.
He wouldn't do this. He wouldn't do this.
Yeah, he wouldn't demand an explanation. Who demands
No,
an
he would demand an explanation. Maybe he
Yeah.
would, or maybe he would just kind of sit there and take his punishment.
Very interesting.
But
I think
do I want to expend willpower this early?
I mean, do we? I don't think so. But I think an explanation is interesting because it's like the what is it? What is the line about reason? Is the crime of intelligence, sin of intelligence?
Yeah,
in Paradise
reason is
Lost?
the sin of intelligence. That's what we're gonna do.
No. Well. Didst thou think that there was no crime of intelligence or sin of intelligence? It's at one point. It's a line in Paradise Lost.
Okay, fair
I think
enough. So we're gonna go with that then.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah, even Cringe Walker joined. So
Oh yay, Cringe Walker's here. Lovely. You start asking questions. Why were you born a commoner if your father is a noble? If you have your father's name, why can't you have his lot? And why can't you choose a lot for yourself if you don't like the one? Oh, okay, this is good. Mother is stunned by all the questions you are peppering her with. Don't you dare ask me about that, Paul. I'll violate my lot if I start explaining it all to you. I'm a commoner, not a priest. I'm flogged in front of my entire family. The pain burns on
flogged.
my
They use
skin.
flogged. Well, in Russian there is a specific word for the stick. You know.
There's a specific word for your parents
Yeah.
beating you in Russian.
Well, not just beating you, but beating you with this specific stick. Because it's usually a stick from cherry, cherry wood, and it hits. Oh man, it was a constant thing in books. I wasn't flogged or hit as a child, like in the classic sense. But I remember reading about it a lot. It's very prominent in Russian books, especially children's books.
You see a book on your bed, The Teachings of Isaicius, Volume 2.
Right. Italians have. Cringe Walker says Italians have the big spoon. I don't know. I mean, Italians are very, very afraid of their children.
The English have the belt.
Well, obviously Russians also have the belt. The belt is the master. But when you read sort of old Imperial Russia books and like Soviet books, a lot of the times they talk about to sech, which is actually like to cleave or to cut. It's very close to that,
Yeah.
and it's because it creates these tiny little cuts, these sticks.
So, hey,
So this-
Bobby, Do me a favor. I'm gonna run and grab a cup of coffee. Explain what's on this page with the teachings of whatever.
I'll read it. Your tears have dried now. You begin to read, slowly making your way through the difficult words. Every death of the body bringeth the soul ever closer to the twin's judgment. And when the body dieth true death, the soul soareth to the shining pillar. The twin gods do judge every soul, and their judgment is stern and unforgiving. He who followeth his lot in life from birth shall melt in bliss atop the peak of the shining pillar. So, yeah, you can die 3 times, but not really, because you can get hanged, and that's your true death, and you can get shot, and that's your true death. There is sort of this mechanic, or this world is brutal in some ways and less brutal in others. For example, if a kid falls off a roof and breaks his neck, he doesn't die. He just gets reborn in the town's cemetery, or, well, it's not really a cemetery, it's like a shrine, or he gets reborn in his family's tomb. And of course, well, you could say that that's more merciful than real life, but in some ways it's worse, because maybe you want to commit suicide, right? And it's not even as simple as just like rebirth, because there are things that happen to you during the rebirth.
Yep. You kind of, what is it? It's kind of like a reintegration process, but we'll get into that more when
we'll get into it.
The words confuse and elude you, instilling fear and awe. You will read this mysterious book again and again as you grow up.
Very, very cool.
She's getting more pregnant.
A true human submarine.
Oh, she's writing poems. Our judge is my second father. In the past, I had another. Mother says the twins are great. Says we should not fight our fate. Brother loves to jump around. Please don't fall down on the ground. See, I wrote a little rhyme. Please don't tell them it is mine. But today your sister's nowhere to be seen. She promised to take you to the old pond and show me the red frogs. I wanted to see those red frogs. Stupid woman, can't even do anything right. Can't take me to a pond. She's writing poems.
Red flogs. Yeah, you'll get your flogs.
We're gonna, Oh, the servants are Oh, we have servants? I didn't know that. And that tells you how important servants are. They're not even like named anywhere. Even in Russia, no one cares about servants.
Well, yeah, but it's in this case it's prisuga. It's like it is actually the more European type of servant. It's not serfs. It's not like people you can kill.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. Like these are like household servants. They are obviously not living on a rural estate. Uh-oh. What is this nonsense? You were told to take care of your little brother. You are not allowed to write. She can decide that for herself. No, you cannot. It's already been decided by the gods. And he's not a little brother anymore. He doesn't need a nanny. He needs some time alone to think for... What is it?
3. You're like 3 or 4. Of course you need a nanny. I mean, some people just are learning how to read at 4. I mean, I learned how to read at 4. But all of this makes sense. It makes sense that Lydia is so harsh on her. Because, well, the gods are there. You can see them.
What would Milton do?
Oh, of course! Offer to write rhymes. I mean, he's Milton, right? He's the poet.
The thing is, though, is like we're not gonna do the priest path. We're doing the lotless path. Because if we were really wanting to do Milton, we would do like the reformer priest path.
Ooh, I'd be careful with that, because Milton wasn't like an American Protestant, which is what I think they're hinting at here. Like a German Protestant. Milton wasn't a German Protestant. He was an Anglican, right? He was like an English Protestant.
I think he was a layman. Yeah, he was a lay. He was of the laity. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on this. I have to look up Wikipedia, and I'm sure there's gonna be all sorts of people fucking fact checking me, like you motherfuckers did with my Scots-Irish tweet yesterday. Okay, look, I get it. All right, it has been made clear to me by everyone. Yes, the Scots-Irish are Anglos. Okay, I understand. I didn't need fucking 12 people telling me in the fucking replies, all right? You know, look, okay, look. You look at coastal tidewater planter Anglos in the United States and you compare them to backcountry Piedmont hillbilly Scots-Irish, and you tell me they are the same people. Okay? You tell me they create the same world.
Physiognomy check on entire populations.
Physiognomy, yeah, even Scots-Irish look different. They've got the big-ass fucking foreheads, all right? Big-ass Scots-Irish foreheads. Anyway, I'm only a little bit resentful, right? But yeah, you know, we're writing rhymes together.
It'll be our secret. It'll be our little secret. Look at that. First poem. First Milton poem. Can you imagine writing your poem at 3 years old?
So we've learned our father is a judge and he was a noble, and our mother is a commoner. Yeah, now
She's
we're asking
knitting.
about it. Well, my dear, I didn't give birth to Stefan. He's the son of another mother, and Gloria is the daughter of another father. Oh no, microchimerism.
Oh shit, micro. Yeah. Oh man, she's a fly. Lydia's a fly. She's a fruit fly.
Microchimerism is a real thing, but only if the woman has had kids with another man.
It's kind of weird, you know, because the ancients definitely knew about, what do you call it? The telegony. Yeah, they knew about telegony, and this belief lasted until like 19th century or something. So there's something to it. Now it can be both metaphysical, right? As in, the more men she is with, the more kind of rights she adopts, the more the more habits she gains, because she's always trying to placate a man, and so then she pours it onto the child that comes out of her. But there is some weird shit with like biology that people are discovering now, which is the microchimerism.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you know, don't let this discourage you, by the way, if you're a person in a relationship, because to be honest, this is going to be, it doesn't matter if it, like, women will do this even without any sort of like you know, any sort of sexual contact. Like, they just adopt behaviors of anyone they're around.
They adopt behaviors of the regime.
Yeah, exactly. So this isn't like, people focus too much on the relationship biological aspect when really that's only like kind of one part of it. And this is actually, I think this is kind of good, because this is, to a certain extent, it's kind of good because you get a variation. That's what kind of creates different sorts of iterations of individuals and archetypes and things like that. And how having a kid is really just like rolling the dice as to what they will be. But I'm not going to get into that too much. But
rolling a loaded dice.
Yeah, rolling loaded dice for sure. Yeah, you know, there are certain inclined outcomes, but, you know, little details matter. This is going to be taken out of context, but, you know, whatever. No, I don't condone, you know, degeneracy and all that. But I'm
you're not
saying,
Sargon.
Yeah, I'm not Sargon, but I'm just saying, like, hey, look, you know, there's a reason that microchimerism does exist, and it's not to like make you feel bad. It's because it probably fulfills some sort of biological purpose. As they say, it takes a village. So maybe that's just like a micro version of that concept. But yeah, so this is a Brady Bunch situation.
Brady Bunch situation. I'm sorry.
It's an American show. It would take too long to explain. The Americans.
Okay, yeah, some other time.
Yeah, the Americans know what I'm talking about. It's basically the synopsis is a husband and a wife get married, and they all have a bunch of kids from earlier marriages, and so they're all around the same age. It's like the wife has like 3 girls or something like that. The father has like 2 or 3 boys. I don't know what it is, and so they're all kind of like. Brady Bunch is what it's called. It was one of the big 60s shows, kind of like Gilligan's Isle, things like that. But anyway. Yeah, so my siblings are getting a sacrament. You know, they're going into the temple. Stefan's getting the nobleman sacrament. Gloria's getting the commoner sacrament, and we're not going to go too much into this because we're gonna learn about this more directly later. But so as you can see, Stefan doesn't like me because now he's a noble, and the family is decreasing because they've taken their sacraments and they're growing up.
The sacraments are brutal, like every sacrament is. I mean, to a degree, even the Christian sacrament is inducing, or at least reminding people of suffocation, underwater.
So now we've got our little brother Nathan, all right, and you know we like him because he's not like mean little Stefan.
He's literally mean.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mom's angry. Mom's gonna do something. Mom's gonna do
Paul,
something
you're
drastic.
bothering me.
Mom's gonna do something drastic, guys.
Yeah, because Nathan won't stop crying.
Yeah, and I can't go and hug her.
Very interesting. Yeah, we can't do that. Milton would never hug his mother.
What would Milton do?
Redirect the anger, call father for help. I don't know.
What would Milton do?
Snatching Nathan is a little bit extreme.
Yeah. Milton would run for his dad.
Yeah, I think Dad.
Dad, go hit Mom. She's going crazy.
I just hope she doesn't kill Nathan. That sounds great. Aww. He embraces her and baby Nathan with all his might and love. Nice.
Okay, so I got a little brother. Middle child syndrome.
Middle child. Wait, are you a middle child?
Well, I mean, there's 4 siblings. Ooh, okay. So this is what happened.
Wait, are they all boys?
No, I'm not talking about my real life. I'm talking about in this game. No, I'm the eldest sibling of my family. So I'm playing around, and and she reads me the books, and I really like my mom. So this will happen, guys, if you build up your stats to a certain point. Like, unique events will fire at a certain time, because what is it? So I built up my perception. We don't really much care about determination, and we haven't expended some willpower. We could build it up more. Willpower does have a cap, but plus there's.
We're definitely spineless.
Well, I mean,
spineless Milton.
I mean, to be honest, I don't let Milton was the kind of guy to take snipes at you in like pamphlets.
Damn. He would write a mean tweet.
He would. No, yeah. Milton was a Twitter shitposter of his day, but
yeah, he'd write a Substack. He's like, he would go into a party, talk to the people. Say, oh yeah, bro, you're so correct. You're so right. Oh yeah. So, and then you come back home, you open up, your iStone tablet or whatever they used to have.
Yeah.
And there would be like this big Substack.
The printing press Substack. Yeah, that's
about you and how you're going to burn in hell.
No, literally, that's what it was, and that's what's so amazing about it. It's just they were just taking snarky shitpost snipes at each other in the 17th century. I
mean, Dante, that was what, the 13th century?
Yeah, but
I mean,
he missed the printing press though. Like, his works didn't get spread en masse till like I think till later. I could be wrong.
But he was, he was a big meme lord. Like, basically every single meme is in Divine Comedy.
Yes.
When I was reading it, I thought, I mean, there's a lot of levity, but there's also just like spite. The people who he didn't like. And it's the whole thing with the soy jacks and the Chad, and he did depict people like that.
It is eternal. It is eternal. But yeah, so Mom's bringing me an ant farm. Oh boy, it's a present. It's a little world in a small box. We can watch them through the glass. Oh, look,
at least it's not sea monkeys. Yeah. The Queen.
The ants cannot do what they weren't born to do. Each of them was born for their own job. Oh man, I could make my mom nice to me, or I could get something here. Oh, Milton is a stone cold motherfucker. That's what he would do.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as sad as it is, he would play by himself. He would say, "Mom, you better back off. It's my ants, my ants,
my ants."
The ants will never know that you're there. That's it. You chose ants over your own mother.
I did, yes. That's such a Milton thing to do. I love how we're just making up John Milton's personality as this goes.
Yeah, it's just Milton RPG. Well, there it is.
All right. Well, we've got the insight. We're not going to get this, unfortunately. If you all want to play something different, get the game yourself and play a different path, or play this one. I don't fucking care. Do what you want. You are a free individual. But
no, you're bound by a lot.
No, you're not. You're a free individual.
Okay. Father's touch on your shoulder.
Oh, he's taking me into town. The silver tree grew from the blood of our God's own disciples. Hundreds of years right in our city. Can't even damage or burn. Oh,
not even the
earrings.
clutch. You know why? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little. This dude is literally me, a little nerd who loves war and all this shit. Oh, little soldiers is so cool. You know, I played with toy soldiers growing up. Bobby,
everyone did.
I would buy the but I took it to like 5 or 6 levels higher because I would go into the hobby store and buy like the plastic tanks you would super glue together, and I would paint them, and I would play my little games with them with my dice and my tape measures.
No, my dad tried to get me into model building. I couldn't. I just, I would look at all the parts and I would be like, no. But I did like Legos.
Yeah, Legos are kind of the equivalent.
I don't know. I think gluing is more. If Legos is Spengler's antiquity, so like classical, then plastic models is more Faustian, definitely. because Lego to a degree is two-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
It's just layers, right? While the plastic stuff has space in it.
Yeah,
air resistance, corners.
You need to buy like third-party things to complete it. You need to glue it together, and you need paints, and you need to, and all of it has a method to it. And then once you set it in place, you can't just take it apart and build something else with it. Like it's there forever, basically.
Yep. Very, very good, right? And I mean, so in some ways, it's more fragile than Legos, because Legos, even though they fall. They can fall and then they'll splatter, but you can always reconstruct it.
Yes.
I mean, isn't it weird? We're now on the topic of how Spenglerian Lego is.
Yes. But anyway, we're trying to buy these cool little soldiers who are basically not the Knights Templar. But there's a noble in front of me. He wants the last one, and I push him.
The boy screams, "He hit me! He hit me!" Oops.
What would Milton do?
Not sure. I think reason, once again, reason comes to.
Would I admit my guilt?
Tell him the truth. I think it's truth. I mean, we don't really need to lie here, right? It's not like we don't need to admit guilt because, we're not guilty, right? We didn't push him because we wanted to push him. It just happened. It was it wasn't a conscious rebellion.
Then we'll tell him the truth.
Yeah, I think Milton would be proud of a conscious rebellion. Or I don't know. Maybe he would be horrified, but he would still write about it. Well, Paul.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, your head is swimming from heavy blows.
Yes, but my
You did get a little bit of.
my father got me the toys anyway, but you know, I paid dearly for standing up to the nobles.
Yeah.
Yay, we're having dinner outside. And we're all doing little things, you know.
I mean, you can see how those lots and how this order is very, very good, very useful to the society.
Yeah.
But it does seem like, and you'll kind of see it in the later on in the game, that there are things that people they don't need to have like some new order in order to make it better, but that the nobles have forgotten their lot. That it's not actually the peasants who in this case have forgotten their lot, but the nobles forgot that they need to protect the peasants. And in some ways, the nobles, like today, you know, they equivocate peasants to themselves, and they think of themselves higher than they actually are.
Yeah.
Like with, you know, because for example, when a peasant kind of does these impulsive things, kind of a true noble would understand that it's a peasant. That he can't.
Yeah, it's like you don't beat your dog if it pisses on the carpet. You know, it's like
very, very good. And here they do, because, well,
yeah,
you know, modern Russian.
Well, it's like I made this tweet yesterday. It's like why do elites always turn into like abusive caricatures of themselves? And it's like, you know, Bobby, you ever had a lollipop? Do they have lollipops in Russia, in Sicily?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
of course.
Just making sure. So have you ever had a lollipop in your mouth that you never had the temptation of crushing with your teeth?
No, never.
Exactly. You know, you always have the temptation to just chew through that lollipop. And in this instance, this metaphor, the noble is the dude who's enjoying the lollipop, and the peasants are the lollipop being enjoyed. And as long as you don't try to crunch it with your teeth to get everything at once, it'll last a very long time. It's kind of like the parable of the golden goose as well. You know, the goose that lays the golden eggs, right? But then
that's the thing, that all of these things, they lasted for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
People have been living in relative I wouldn't say harmony, but, well, I don't know about peace, because I mean there were a lot of wars, but there was this sort of continuous, what do they call it, Birkin contract between all of the lots in real life.
Yeah.
And then something went so fucking terribly wrong that we're now here. Right? And kind of, this is a game about things going terribly wrong.
Well, and this is kind of like, this is what happened in the 17th century. You know, like, and there's a reason this game looks like the 17th century, because or the late 16th century as well, because, you know, this happened in real history, is that nobles forgot what they were supposed to do. You know, it's never really the undercastes that degenerate. It's always the higher castes that degenerate, because, you know, they have more leisure,
more to degenerate.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and there's various ways that can go once that happens, but like this game is kind of about that, you know. And you can either try to enter a declining ruling caste, or try to overthrow them. And, you know, in this playthrough we are going to overthrow them. But anyway, our whole family is having dinner outside, you know. Nathan is a little baby. He does his little counting rhyme. Stefan's talking about how much he's fencing and how good he's fencing. You know, and then he duels with his father. You know, Gloria is reciting a prayer, and then you recite all the ranks in the Legion, from common soldier to high commander. And you know, that's what I did. But basically, you know, we're all just having a nice little summer dinner. And then a servant approaches a father with a letter in his hand. Uh-oh. Oh no, Gregor Brand is coming back.
Each line
no.
gradually washes the smile.
Your grandfather, Gregor Brante, returned to the family home from the capital. Oh,
There he is.
Uh-oh. Yep, no, we're totally cleaning up all the house. Everyone's super on edge, and you know.
No, it's worse than Taiwan.
We're standing outside our house. It's like Downton Abbey. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Gloria got flogged. And out steps a tall, gaunt old man.
Yeah, basically, fuck you, son.
Look at this. You gotta read this. You gotta read Gregor.
Still trying to look like a real nobleman, are you? You can't fool me, Robert. I was the first of the Brant family to be ennobled by the mantle, and I am the only one who remembers how to bear this burden properly.
Oh shit.
Your marriage to that lowborn wench cut us off from ever becoming nobles of the sword. My progeny could have been born bearing noble blood.
And then he like smashes his little stick. You know?
Uh-oh. Grandfather's eyes
He's angry.
scorn and walks into the house. The entire family. I have been away for far too. I can't do this voice. It's gonna kill my throat.
I'll do some of it. Let's see. We'll do a Russian grandpa. I have been away far too long. The entire house is a mess. This is an insult. How can you live in such a pigsty, Robert? The servants have grown far too lazy, all thanks to your commoner of a wife. I warned you, did I not? And yet you did as you saw fit. And the children, what do they know of tradition or honor?
So true. Wow, they're being he's Soy Jack right here is crying. He's got tears in his eyes in front of Chad. Grandpa.
Yeah. Robert Bronte is just completely destroyed. You know, slime on the floor.
Yeah. Now you're speaking like a lowborn who's content to live in humility. Twins willing. Oh no, yeah. Grandpa, Giga Chad Granddad is coming to lay down the law. All right. Yeah, basically he's fuck you. I'm taking your son. I gotta educate him properly, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's absolutely schizo-pilled. I mean, this guy, you know, he's Robert Ford on crack. You know, he's like, what do you call it? He's like North FC Nonce Patrol man.
So true. Oh no, he sees my tin soldiers.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh no, he said this fucking commoner's not gonna dream of battle. I'm gonna throw him in the thing.
Oh, that's horrible though. Anger and fear boil within you. I believe that we have saved up enough capital to watch the soldiers melt helplessly. You know, I think this is our lot.
Well,
we can't do it. And we can't burst into tears because Milton ain't got no... No! Don't strike grandfather!
Milton
would never!
Yeah, Milton wouldn't do it, I don't think.
But it's very funny. It's
funny if you do, but I don't think Milton would do this. So what I think
it's funny in a very Russian sense that he just he doesn't even look at you. He just stomps you into the ground, and you die your first death in rage of like 6.
Milton. So I'm just gonna sit here and
watch them now.
Oh well.
Let's see what he says. The wood crackles, the tin melts.
Oh well. Soon grandfather leaves. Okay, Giga Chad Granddad basically took the one son that could amount to anything.
Yeah. We'll get a revenge. We'll get a revenge on Gregor.
Hold on.
What's your way to strict?
Eterna is the capital of the Archnean Empire, you know. This home is mine, and I will live here as befits a man of the nobility.
Actually, my dad does the same thing here. You know, he he reorganizes the house at least twice a year. I've never seen anyone in my life do that. Some people live with the same table for all their lives, and I mean, my dad can't do it. He has to completely uh, move everything like once every few months. I don't know. What about you, Paul?
I mean, I don't rearrange my house at all. My house has not been rearranged once since, like, my birth. My house is more or less the complete same. And I lived in a nice house. I grew up in a very, very nice house. I wasn't, like, rich or anything, but I grew up in a very, very much decently comfortable house with a lot of space and a big yard. And, really, everyone... Shelby Foote, who's one of my favorite authors, he wrote the three-volume trilogy on the... kind of like Gibbon did about the decline and fall. He wrote it about the American Civil War. Which I'd recommend to you, Bobby, because you can kind of get an idea of why we take it so seriously. But Shelby Foote said everyone thinks they either had the best childhood possible or the worst childhood possible. And I find myself in the former camp.
I don't know. I don't think that I agree with Gibbon on that, because
you mean with Shelby
I
Foote
think
on
my
that?
childhood has Shelby. I mean, yes, Shelby Foote, because I've had a very weird childhood, and it was both good and bad. I mean, look, I spent time in Switzerland on a mountain, and I went to a classical English boarding school in Switzerland. I went to a classical French boarding school, but of course, some people miss some stuff. I missed some stuff, and then I went to Italy, and I missed a lot of stuff, especially with the fact that Italians had a completely different, culture line than me. I was always into the English stuff because, of course, that's the language I learned, and so I was watching Yogscast while they
you
were
watched
watching
Yogscast?
I watched a lot of Yogscast.
I loved Yogscast. You remember what was it? I think the peak of my preteen years was the Tekkit Let's Play with the Jaffa Cake
with the
Factory.
Santa, with the why is his belt below his ass? Right. Everyone remembers that. Yeah, I watched Tekkit, and then I think Tekkit is where it ended. Like, I stopped watching them after that.
That was the best. Like, I remember, like, the best parts of my week is I would come home and there would be another Tekkit episode. But anyway, grandfather is now sitting at the head of the table, and we have to have breakfast with him, and he just berates us every single day.
Very mean grandma.
Mom's crying all night because she's a stupid commoner and deserves it. But Giga Trad Grandpa is here ensuring that the law keeps getting laid down. It is high time your youngest sons underwent their sacraments. Stupid woman, shut up. There you go. Yeah, Giga Chad Grandpa is way ahead of me. Robert, that wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this ever happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with the servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It's time you considered a real marriage. Damn.
That's so mean. That is just, like, evil, dude. Man, like, just, like that's horrifying. It's just like, oh yeah, you should cuck your
yeah. Oh, and you can also keep her if you like, servant mistress. I don't care. Cringe soy jack father is like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
No, the father, like, he just gets suppressed by his own dad. And I mean, everyone's a little bit afraid of their own dad, or maybe even
exactly
very afraid.
I read a tweet recently. It's like, you don't really become a man until your father dies, which I mean, I guess
I dread that.
Yeah, you do too, because like then all of a sudden there's no authority you really respect above you anymore that's living, other than of course the actual Lord himself. But anyway, and that bastard child of hers based granddad.
Chance to set things right. Do not disappoint me.
He's already taken the liberty to invite the other woman. Damn.
Yeah.
Baroness Emma L. Lodar will be visiting us tomorrow. Please be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you do. I want this dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let me She's been crying. Oh, yep, we're all getting super, you know. Yep, and there's the other woman.
It's kind of weird. Like, if you look at the little pictures there, you see that the design of the house's interior is not exactly a Victorian house.
Yeah, it's not.
There is this inkling of Russian in it, even though they're clearly inspired by more Italian or French, you know, places.
So how are we? How would Milton treat the How would Milton do this?
It's very interesting.
So we can. What is it? So
I think he would be like a little. I mean, do you think he would introduce his mother? I mean, once again, he doesn't think that it's like wrong because he doesn't have the foundation yet to understand that it's wrong to introduce her.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, he does feel like, you know, there's something's bad is happening to the bottom tower.
So we're doing the lotless playthrough, so reputation doesn't really matter, and also fuck Granddad. We could also, you know, we could. Milton would also maintain his composure. He could do that as well. I don't think he would do this, nor do I think he would do this.
Maintain composure is interesting.
But but it expends some of our willpower. You know what?
I think mother. Yeah. Go ahead.
To be honest, because it requires a little bit of perception. I mean.
But it gives us unity. But we don't care about unity, right?
No, we do, because in the lotless playthrough, family unity is a lot more important, because
that's true.
Reputation doesn't really matter. Also, fuck Granddad. So
yeah, fuck Granddad. Like whatever. He's going to be angry at us anyway. So yeah, I think this is a win-win for everyone. Look at that.
Uh-oh.
This cannot be. Ooh, legal wife, legal mother. He grinds his teeth, but he can't do anything because there's gas. We're gonna get flogged, of course. Robert. Of course. Not even a mention. Oh man, the grandfather is just like, he's coming! Help! Oh shit. Please leave my son alone. He finally steps up, you know. Grandfather can't even do it.
But his eldest son is siding with grandfather.
Whatever. Stefan is just, he's learning. Have you ever been to a boarding school?
No.
Have you ever been to a summer camp?
I did, yes, but I never got like hit or beat or anything like that.
You never got into a fight at like summer camps?
Well, I've gotten into fights, but I haven't been like hit or beat by like authorities. It was just like roughhousing with kids. Yeah, I was in Boy Scouts. Yeah, of course. So Boy Scout summer camp is what I did before it got terrible. I am an Eagle Scout, by the way. I made it all the way up.
Wow.
As is Mr. Prudentialist, actually. So we're both Eagle Scouts. But yeah, I mean, yeah, when you would go to summer camp, yeah, you and the kids left alone, you would roughhouse. Plus, when I was in basic training, I would get into fights frequently there, but they were really controlled fights. Like, we would have our little fight clubs in our barracks every week because we were in male-only barracks. And so, of course, you would have the kids who knew how to fight. We'd put them up against the big dudes who never learned. And then I would go in sometimes and, I did a little bit of combat sports, but I wasn't, some kids were like doing jujitsu since they were 8. So I was just getting, I was holding my own, but I was getting reamed.
The last time I was in a fight was like in beginning of middle school. Basically, yeah, I've been very, very safe.
Yeah. I mean,
But
guys like us who are like tall, thin, you know, not really muscular. We try not to get into fights because we know that we're not going to do too well in most of them. We'll do it if we need to, but like it's not our first option. And so we put all of our character, we put all of our skill points in diplomacy.
I think I was like 12 when we watched Fight Club with the other Russian dude in Switzerland, and then we made our own Fight Club, in which my bully did not participate, did not want to participate,
Yeah.
and it was just me and this other guy, and we would just wail on each other. It was stupid, but yeah, I got bullied. Did you get bullied?
Oh yeah, I got bullied, but it wasn't like direct bullying. It was more of like no one would pick a fight with me directly. It was more of like social ostracization.
Oh man, that's the worst kind of bullying.
Yeah, so in middle school, my interests were history, and I took German class, and I knew a lot about history, and I really liked World War II, and I was taking German class, and so unfortunately, this created the moniker Hitler, which stuck with me throughout
Wow.
both middle and high school. And I mean that was kind of, and I mean it is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and whine because I really didn't do anything to help myself. You know, I kind of started playing into it actually, and you know, look at me now. We're on the fucking dissident right. But
Oh yeah.
you know, but yeah, here we are. Anyway, but I would, you know, there were, you know, I did get into physical altercations at school. One time I was actually jumped by a whole group of black dudes.
Wow, that's very
yeah,
American.
There were about 8 of them and 1 of me. I managed to talk my way out of it. Utilizing certain techniques, but you know, it was not it. That was the thing. I've always been slippery, you know, in the sense of like I can always calm someone down or distract them or find a way to keep them from going further, or at least stall them long enough and be aware of the surrounding situation that I could find an exit. No one's ever really been able to corner me, at least yet. Even in the instances, because they cornered me, like I was talking to an acquaintance of mine, behind a school bus, and they all kind of came out of nowhere, and I basically told her to walk away, and she did, and you know, I dealt with that, and I was able to position myself to get around the other end of the school bus where there were other people. But I mean, yeah, like, you know, this is how it goes, you know. But yeah, in America, that kind of stuff does happen. Thankfully, I did not get the worst of it. Some other kids got the worst of it. But I digress. Anyway, families.
Hey, let's finish up this chapter.
Yeah.
You know, because it's actually like this is a pretty good stream. Like I think you would be getting quite a lot of views if we just did one of these like a week, because we can do this game and then we can go on to the, you know, the big feast, suzerain.
Are you gonna make me pathologic?
Not pathologic yet, but I think suzerain is next. Like after we finish Sir Brante, and because suzerain is going to be epic, like it's going to be a stream for the ages. Also, there's a guy asking you, did you join the Order of the Arrow?
Oh yes, yeah, I was OA, yeah. I'm not gonna tell you what lodge I was, but I was in OA. That was, if you're, yeah, like that's a couple of the questions you ask if you were a Boy Scout. Is it
OA is Orangutans Anonymous?
No, Order of the Arrow. Now, unfortunately I never went to Philmont, which I regret. I wish I did go to Philmont, which is like the big, like, Philmont Scout Ranch is like the most famous thing to do if you're a Boy Scout. But I never did Philmont, sadly. Which is, it's in Arizona, but I am an Eagle. I was in Order of the Arrow, and I did some high adventure stuff in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I've hiked very long portions of the Appalachian Trail, but I've never really gone further beyond that. I didn't do anything cool. like Alaska or like Philmont or things like that. But I was very outdoorsy growing up and all that. So yeah, and then I of course joined the Army and, you know, just continued on from that. But yeah, anyway, yeah, Boy Scouts was great. It was one of the great American civil institutions, and I was the last class of Eagles before women were admitted into Boy Scouts. So, you know,
I think they invented the Roman salute.
I mean, I don't know if they did that, but you know, it was one of these like Americana institutions I'm very glad I got to see at least the dying days of, because all the you know, there's a lot of jokes, but all of the scoutmasters that I had were like veterans of either like the Marine Corps or the Army. Some of them they were like a lot of Gulf War veterans, a lot of like GWAT veterans. Some dudes never deployed, but they were in, you know, a lot of government contractors. I had one who was a firefighter in the New York City Fire Department, and then he moved down to Virginia and he went into the Pentagon during 9/11. So like,
wow.
So really, really cool dudes. And then like I talked to older guys, and then when the Scoutmasters were Boy Scouts, like their Scoutmasters were like Vietnam veterans and things like that. So Boy Scouts really was like the youth military organization of the United States, where all the young boys would be acquainted with, you know, the pioneering outdoorsy skills that their forefathers learned, like, you know, tying knots, cooking food over a campfire, setting tents, clearing an area, moving quietly, even like things that they wouldn't tell us were Indian hunting, but like things that were Indian hunting. So I'm really glad I did Boy Scouts. I don't know if Russia has an equivalent to it.
Of course, pioneer, the pioneers, right?
Yeah.
Or the komsomolцы, the Komsomol children. But I used to go to summer camps, but they were very secular summer camps.
Yeah.
As in, there was no uniting ideology. We never got to say the creed. But I had like, these were my formation years, and they were wonderful. I loved summer camps. It was great. And, you know, my favorite part was at the end of the day, we'd have like a campfire, we'd have a guitar, and then something would happen. Right? You know, so yeah.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other peoples at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. I think that's what we recited before every meeting. That's the Scout law and the Scout creed. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, we said fuck Grandpa. Our family likes each other more, but our reputation has gone down. Many such cases. I mean, to be honest, if I had to choose, I would rather have a healthy family life and a terrible social life, which I guess is a very Russian attitude.
I think so. You know, the family thing it's weird, right? In the North, families are at the same time both tight and very unruly, because like divorce rates have always been very, very high in Nordic countries. But Russia is an exception, and I think it might be because of the Italian influence on Russia.
Yeah.
So yeah, Russians would definitely choose family over any kind of like social upstanding, basically.
Well,
so
anyway,
so now.
Anyway, Dad's here. We're playing with a kaleidoscope. You know. Father's like, fuck Stefan. I wish you went and not him.
Yeah, but that's only if he gets annoyed. So,
you know,
and Grandfather's off to the capital.
Yeah, and we're reading books and all that, and you know, I'm asked Gloria, and she's like, you know, Gloria's like, I just avoid him. Good job, woman. And she got us a kaleidoscope. And I look at the book, and I look at the kaleidoscope, and I'm like, what is it?
You know, there's one thing, pause here. Look at Gloria, look at her, like, figure, and think of Robert Crumb, the cartoonist. You know Robert Crumb?
What did he do?
You know, Felix the cat.
Oh yeah, Felix the cat. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, think of the way that Robert R. Crumb draws women. It's kind of similar, like, because you know women are usually slender and slim, but in this game it seems like women all have like these blown up arms, like they're big, right? Look, I mean, look at the palms on this girl.
Yeah, she got some big hands.
Big hands.
Russian peasant hands.
Definitely. Well, she's a noble peasant. Gets to live in a big house.
Yes. She's a yeoman. She's the worst thing in every society. She is the middle class. Everyone hates the middle class of society. But I'm looking through this kaleidoscope, and I'm seeing all of these things. Oh man, this is a Milton moment right here. What would Milton do? Take it apart? Would I keep looking through it?
What would Milton do?
I mean, Milton would either. I mean, to be honest, he would do any of these three.
Do you? I think it's up to you. It's up to you. Go ahead.
I mean, if Milton would do any of these three, I'm gonna have to pick the gameplay button. Unfortunately.
Go ahead, gameplay button. Okay, we're gonna break it.
Yeah.
3 elongated mirrors. Poor Gloria. But we're now insightful. So, pretty good. Big guys.
Giga Chad Grandpa has run out of willpower, unfortunately, and now we're just kind of used to him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's eating the highborn candies or whatever.
He's eating some candied fruit.
And now we're
confectionery. This is Gloria, right? Delicious candied fruit. Now she's here.
Yeah, he comes back.
You squalid, ungrateful child. Yeah, she's milk. Oh, milksop! Wow, sosunok in Russian. What is it then, milksop? Very, very good. Bravo, translators.
Well, Milton would just unequivocally do this.
Yeah, tell the truth.
He would tell the truth. Sorry, I ate it, not her. He hates me a little bit less, but I'm a bit more tired. Nope. Sorry, we gotta go. Me and Nathan, we gotta go get our lot. So we're getting close to the end.
Oh yeah, I don't want a lot.
Yeah.
Big moment. We gotta read the one when they come to the church.
You enter the gate and walk under the splendorous dome of the church. The church hall is divided into 2 halves. They are drastically different from one another. The floor on one side is rough and jagged and covered in dried brown spots, while the floor on the other is made of smooth marble. The commoners kneel on the jagged floor, and the well-dressed nobles and their families sit on pews. Father and grandfather leave you to sit on one of the nobles' pews. Mother walks to the rough stone of the commoner's side and gets down on her knees. You see her wince in pain, for the low-born estate shall suffer in the house of faith. The church acolytes surround you and lead you to the altar where you and other children will take your sacrament this day. Before you stands a tall priest dressed in black with a sword in one hand and a hefty whip in the other. Nathan's whining grows louder. He dislikes this place. He is scared. You remain quiet, but your stomach roils in uneasy anticipation. The first child to take the sacrament is a jaunty little boy from a family of nobles. The priest extends the sword before him and recites the words of his lot. From this day forth he will fight and rule and pursue the arts, his mind now forever free from the throes of suffering, for now he belongs to the noble lot. The boy proudly touches the flat blade with his lips. Nathan is next to receive his sacrament. He suddenly snaps out of his fearful trance and tries to break free, but the acolyte pulls him towards the altar and throws him on the jagged floor on the lowborn side. The sharp edges bite into Nathan's knees as he lands, spraying drops of red around him. I don't wanna. Paul, why do they wanna whip me? What did I do? You try to break free and run to Nathan's side. You want to give him courage and protect him, but the acolyte's grip on you is too firm. You feel utterly helpless. Your little brother has to face the world all by himself. The priest starts reciting the words of the lot as he swings the lash over Nathan's shoulder. From this day forth, Nathan, thou shalt endure and work and suffer. Thou shalt be ardent in thy labor and humble in obedience to thy rulers. And now cometh thy first true suffering, which thou must accept with gratitude. The lash cracks. It strikes his right shoulder. It strikes his left shoulder. The blows are so powerful that Nathan falls to the floor. The priest tells him to rise. He has received his lot. Nathan gets on his feet and drags himself towards Mother, his knees torn and bloodied, his spirit broken. It is your turn. Your feet will not move. You can barely muster enough strength to walk to the altar. You get down on your knees and feel the sharp stones below, so sharp your clothing cannot protect you. Your skin begins to burn. The acolyte forces your head down, and you feel the lash being drawn above you, ready to strike. The priest's words are for you now. This is thy sacrament. Thou shalt work and endure and suffer. Thou art about to receive thy first true suffering by the sacred lash. Dost thou accept thy lot?
Dost thou accept thy lot? Did Milton accept his lot in life? What do you think? With his life, like, would it be a life of a person that accepts the lot? Man, kissing the sword is dangerous, but it's very interesting. But also accepting it makes sense because, you know, well, like...
Yeah, Milton would probably take it.
I think he would. I think kissing the sword is like... You know what? I'm not sure, but can you actually become a magic user in this game?
If you do the lotless path, yes.
Yeah. I guess I didn't manage to do that. Yeah, the lash cracks again. Rise now, commoner. We're getting lashed.
Well,
but
we have almost zero determination, but we
very good. There is agony, but there is also unfathomable tranquility. This is right. This is what you deserve. This is how it should be. This is the way of the world and its laws. From this day forth. Right? And, I mean, they're not wrong, right? They're not wrong that the commoners are doing well like this. That it's actually the nobles who are always angry. Who are like rebelling against their lot, and you know, in Russia and their serfs.
The mark on you by the sacrament takes a long, long time to heal. Mother says it is a reminder of your lot, suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Gloria shows you the mark of the lash on her shoulder one day. It will never disappear. You are a commoner now. This is the lot you were born into, but Father keeps telling you to study hard so you may yet earn a different lot and become a noble of the mantle. You recall the past with warm sadness, when Stefan still lived with you or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left. Now he thinks it beneath him to write to commoners in his family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedroom as often back then. This changed shortly before Nathan was born, but most importantly, you missed the time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. You learned the true power of the lot only after the head of family's arrival. In grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserves to be treated with kindness. Is this just him, or is it the way of the entire world? The very thought makes you queasy. You are older now, and what's more, you are an elder brother now. You've learned how to care about someone else, how to teach and protect. Soon you are a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious study. Now your choices will decide your place in a bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over.
Your childhood years are over, and with that, I think our stream is over.
So let's look at how we ended it. All right,
yeah.
We made it up to 10 perception, 0
we didn't
determination.
Die. Pretty good. Yeah.
We've got about 5 willpower, and we haven't expended any of our deaths yet. And we got the insight life event, which will be important later. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it.
That's it for childhood, right, Paul?
I think so. I mean, I'm trying to figure out whether I need to save, because we did Iron Man.
Well, go continue. If you click continue and then we quit to menu, it automatically saves everything.
So we're gonna click continue right here, and thus we have ended our childhood. All right, thank all of you for coming. Next, I think we're gonna do this again next week.
I was growing up fast.
We'll do a
The
lesson.
school, the streets,
And then peacetime might
and the
take
whole
us
wide
quite a
world
while.
awaited me
Yeah.
beyond the gate of my parents'
Well,
house.
this will only probably be about maybe 5 streams or so. So
But it'll be great.
We're gonna stop it here. at adolescence. We're gonna quit to the main menu. Hold on. I've got a lot of other ones.
Oh man.
I'm just gonna delete my I'm gonna delete my old ones. You're all
Oh
gonna see.
man.
You're all gonna see my
That's
older ones.
crazy.
Sorry.
You've been
I did a lot of this.
very prolific. But yeah, this was fun. Hey, thank you. You know.
Yeah, thank you all very much for watching. If any of you are still here, thank you. We're gonna do this again next week. Thank you very much for coming, Bobby. I really appreciate it. We'll find a time to do it again. We'll probably
we figured out how to do the stream, how to set everything up, and you'll get to use your YouTube channel.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever used my YouTube channel. But thank you all very much, and I hope you all have a very